Hello, everyone. I'm Chestic44, also known as Fly, and welcome to this Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous. Last episode, we completed all the quests we happen to have going on here in, whatever it's called. For, Ulbrig's personal quest.
Skip the
Thinking about it, I should probably just cast a small thing here. With that done, we need to head back to, base. Where's remove disease? No, remove sickness is not what I want. You don't have remove disease, I just realized. Okay, well, you'll get over the, ghoul fever. You know what?
Missed me already.
How many of those do we have? 12. Yeah, go ahead, try it. Didn't work. Okay. Anyway, with that quest done, it's time for us to, I think, head back to base. I think a day has passed, so our armies will be able to move somewhere. So we'll do that, and then we'll just... Oh! An army is attacking. Okay, this isn't gonna be too bad. We can kill a load of the cultists. You can take out a load of those. That works. Ooh, you might be able to kill the cultists. Didn't kill him, did do a lot of damage. Go ahead, deal with a load of the dredge. Down go the cultists. And now we can deal with the dredge. There we go. Wasn't too hard, now was it? Okay, we should probably deal with these. Oh, Agaboya, you did level up. Let's see. Extra energy? Not a bad idea. Saving throws? Penetrating strike I don't care about. Let's go ahead and give you protective wards. Okay, so you can continue on to where you were going. You are doing a bit of exploring. Okay, that'll basically do. Agaboya, you're doing scouting. You're not gonna go any further because that'll hit that. Sacred Lands, okay. Setsuna, you can probably kill that group easily. Alright. Fireball. And do a load on these two. Yep, that did a lot. Let's get these Babaos dead. Won't quite completely kill them, but it will do a lot. You can finish them. Hurt a bit, but we're fine. Nothing happened. Nice try. Take out those dretches. And now we just got the Brimmerax. There we go. Not too bad. Having ejected the demons from Eagle Rock, the former Crusader outpost lost during the Fourth Crusade, warriors were dismayed to discover that the fortifications had fallen into miserable ruins under demon rule. However, in the Warden's chambers, there is a cache containing valuables unnoticed by marauders. Headband of Inspired Wisdom. Alright. Pretty good. Demon army there. Demon army. That is a big army. But I think we could probably deal with it. Alright. Fireball here will do a ton of damage to these three. Okay, those are wounded. Do a bit of damage to the Glabrezu. Kills one of them. Did not see that coming. Okay, our archers are now in danger. You need to kill these Mariliths. Okay, the Mariliths are still alive. But I will do something about them soon. Alright, Fireball here. Got rid of those. And now we can deal with the Mariliths. I'm impressed that those Mariliths are so freaking tough. There we go, jeez. Those guys are dangerous. A poor prisoner who was freed in the battle asks for a word. In his hand, an item wrapped in a rag. The prisoner says he was once a crusader, and for decades he has hidden this item from the demons. He is overjoyed to present it to its savior. A +4 scythe. Impressive. Alright, and you're done moving. And now, we're gonna teleport back to Drezen. Nice, quick, easy. And I believe we have some discussions we need to have in our in the Citadel. So we may as well make this episode be that. Why not? And here we go. Commander, the capital needs you to take decisive action. There has been a major scandal. The nation of Andoran, our diplomatic partner, has sent its army to help the crusade. However, this apparently generous gesture is nothing more than political provocation. Oh boy. The Andorans want to prevent the emerging rapprochement between Mendev and Cheliax, of which I have previously informed you. They've deliberately sent their army to our territory without seeking Nerosian's approval. If Mendev accepts this help, it will cool our relations with Isgur and their suzerain Cheliax. The Royal Council command... that is to say, expects you to reject Andoran aid. Direct them toward Her Majesty's court. They are welcome to negotiate with the capital. Unfortunately, we can't disregard the decision made by Her Majesty and her council. But those Andorans didn't come here empty-handed. They brought weapons and supplies. Let them share those with us, since Nerosian forbids them from joining our army. Drezen regards Lady Konomi with feigned disapproval. Come now, Lady Konomi, all this suspicion. I am sure that the Andorans are driven by nothing more than benevolence and concern for our collective future. We simply must accept them like dear friends. We should send the Andorans back home instead of to Nerosian, and declare as loudly as possible that we disapprove of their underhanded methods. Otherwise, our capital's diplomats will see it as an opportunity to strike a few deals and sweep the whole scandal under the rug. And that's not right. Vile deeds should be exposed, not hidden. If the whole deal is about them being Andorans, they should just stop being them. Take down the banners, call themselves mercenaries, problem solved. What's the gist of this political conflict? Isgur is a protectorate of Cheliax, and Andoran and Cheliax have a long history of feuds. For the Andorrans, the highest values are freedom and equality, and for the Chelaxians, it's order and hierarchy. It's as if the two countries were made to be at odds. The fact that they are both allied with Mendev doesn't stop them from settling scores at any opportunity. For the time being, Nerosian considers it more advantageous to cooperate with Agorian, the capital of Cheliax. No one is cutting ties with Andorran, no. It's just that the relations have cooled somewhat. It's a common occurrence in the politics of major powers. That is why Nerosian insisted on you inviting Isger, Chelaxius' protectorate. When you accepted their forces, the Andorrans resorted to a provocation. Either Nerosian receives their help, incurring Agorian's discontent, or it risks a diplomatic row. The Royal Council chose the row. Let's see what our council has to say. Hopefully the advice you're about to hear won't lead to an undesirable war. Soziel, what solution do you propose? I come from Andorran myself, and as Shellen is my witness, I wish I could offer another solution. But we have sworn an oath to Her Majesty. If Nerosian doesn't wish to see Andorran troops in Drezen, we have no right to invite them. But no one can forbid us from accepting their help in the form of weapons and supplies. After all, this war is not just some political conflict, this is a battle for the fate of Golarion. Everyone is entitled to do their part. What touching bashfulness. You're proposing we behave like the daughter of a noble family who wants to give herself to a dashing bard but keep her maiden honor. Darren, are you sure we should accept Andorran's help? Does it become us to reject the aid of our valiant allies who are on their way here to share the burden of this holy war? I sense the sins of pride, envy, and... yes, a whiff of covetousness too, coming from the direction of Nerosian. But there can be no place for sin on a crusade. Lady Konomi shudders pointedly. Don't forget about the sin of slander, Count. Enough tomfoolery, your jests will lead to diplomatic disaster. Perhaps, perhaps not. One thing I can say for sure, this was a bold move by Andorran. They are willing to invest much in this cause. Our cause. I see no reason to refuse. I never was fond of Cheliax anyway. I don't like their practices. Or their wine. Lan, is it a good idea to rebuke those who send us troops? The longer I sit on this council, the harder it is for me to figure out which demons we're supposed to defeat. The ones on the front lines or the ones we're protecting. How can people think about plots and intrigues when the world hangs in the balance? I don't have much faith in the integrity of Nerosian's bureaucrats. Which is why I'm suggesting that we treat the Andorrans in a way that will make it clear we won't stand for being used. If you want to help, then do it decently, and if you want to scheme, just go home. It will discourage wily opportunists, but win the respect of those who value honesty and decency. The politicians may be at fault here, but what is the soldiers' crime? They are prepared to risk their lives to defend Golarion, and they're certainly not looking to gain anything from this war. Is it just to punish them for the actions of their leaders? With logic like that, we shouldn't be surprised when people start to judge us by the deeds in Nerosian's bureaucracy. Woljif, what were you saying about mercenaries? I know a guy or two with connections in merc circles. A bit creepy, but they keep their word. It'll take 5 minutes for him to turn an Andorran army into a mercenary company. They'll dig up some distinguished name of some currently retired group, fix you up with the banners and the uniforms, and record the company's arrival in the books of the local mercenary guild. Even the fussiest clerk won't realize that they're not well-respected dogs of war, but a detachment of Andorran regulars. And just like that, under neutral banners, we've accepted our new friends into our army. Clever, eh? It's crooked, not clever. If a soldier doesn't care under which banners to fight, then they're not a soldier, just your average cutthroat. If the Andorrans agree to something like this, my respect for them will plummet. And it's not high as it is. Lady Konomi, why would I refuse Andorran's help? Firstly, because it is the wish of the capital. And secondly, you do understand that this situation is larger and more complex than what you can see from Drezen. It would be inconvenient for us to quarrel with Cheliax at the moment, and Andorran is pushing us to do exactly that. I can promise you that Mendev will compensate you for your losses. We are guided not by consideration of our own benefit, but of the good of your army and the entire crusade. Nuh-uh. No dice. When they give you something, you take it, especially freebies. Don't bother feeding us that garbage about compensating us later. The authorities do it whenever it's fleecing time, and then what? The people get nothing back. Compensating my tail. Alright, so if we do social, we get a load of finance points, and all infantry get a bit more HP. If we do Daerin, we get a bunch of hedge knights, and all recruitable cavalry get a bonus to AC. If we choose Lan, we get a bunch of rangers, and all archers gain... let's see. Any opponent damaged loses AC. If we choose Woljif, we get some hedge knights, and all mercs get a bonus to AC and saving throws. And if we go with Konomi, we get cuirassiers, champions, and marksmen. Marksmen are really good, champions are really good, cuirassiers are the tanky cavalry, and crusade morale. Most of these are decent. I mean, buffs to a particular type. They are generally good. But from a roleplay perspective, I like Social the most. Honestly, of all the characters so far, Social I've liked the most because he does the best idea of going, sure, we'll follow you, sort of. Just in a way that won't completely trash everything. So, his whole suggestion of, listen, we get it. The capital doesn't want us to take their soldiers, so fine, we'll not take their soldiers. But I mean, they're still offering help, so we can take a little bit of help. So she'll tell the Andorrans we'll accept their weapons and supplies, but not the soldiers. Commander, you have already demonstrated your defiance of the Royal Council. Do not cross the line that separates defiance from an open attack on Mendev's interests. The Royal Council will not forgive you for it. Is that a threat? Merely a warning. Your actions, on the other hand, are indeed threatening to Mendev. Her Majesty has entrusted her kingdom to the Royal Council. It is their duty to oppose those who hurt her interests. By turning them against you, you leave them no choice but to start hurting you. The decision has been made, and it's final. Lady Konomi's hand twitches in frustration. There will be consequences, severe and unpleasant consequences. Will do. The Andorrans won't be glad to hear it, of course, but they'll understand. And our warriors could use new blades and armor. That will be all. I hope you are all pleased with the work of the Diplomatic Council. I doubt that the capital will henceforth be inclined to involve you in matters of politics, Commander. You may give your demon war your undivided attention. For now. But we have military things as well. Captain Odan salutes you and looks over the military council intently. Our intelligence was correct. Karamzadeh's host marches on Drezen. In his position, the wisest course of action upon reaching the walls would be to lay siege and wear down our forces with nuisance raids. However, my experience tells me that he will act differently. This is going to be a full-on assault, a decisive display of his power. When the enemy moves in on our position, we must meet them with a hail of arrows from the walls, gaining the full advantage of our superior defensive position. To prepare our army for this battle, I propose to pass a reform and increase the presence of ranged troops in our ranks. I believe light-armed slingers, a great number of whom can be trained quickly, will be adequate for our purposes. And once the demons get to them, every one of those slingers will be slaughtered. I say we only recruit experienced, seasoned rangers who have traveled far and wide and know how to defend themselves in any situation. Captain Odan is correct to assume that our ranged troops can manage with light armaments. However, the troops themselves must be of exemplary quality to complete the task at hand. I suggest we pick the most adept archers we have and have them undergo rigorous training until they become true marksmen. Greyboy smiles condescendingly. In my experience, in a fight with a dozen quick and accurate archers, the most valuable among them is the one who knows how to pick the right target. You don't learn that kind of skill on the archery range, only in action. Call some headhunters, hard-boiled cutthroats who live by their ability to put an arrow in the eye of a moving target. In every forest where animals are found, there are hunters plying their trade. These folk don't need to be taught how to shoot, they rely on their keen eye and a steady hand by day to put food on the table for their families. Put a call out for hunters, pay them what they're worth, and let them kill cultists and oglins for us instead of rabbits and deer. Why is Karamzadeh so intent on reclaiming Drezen? By capturing the city, we have gone on the offensive for the first time in decades. We have broken the established mold. That which is taken by demons rarely escapes their grasp. The liberation of Drezen could become a symbol of new hope for mortal kind, and Karamzadeh seeks to smother that hope in its cradle. Moreover, Drezen is a well-positioned foothold that threatens both the World Wound and Northern Mendev. Karamzadeh cannot fail to appreciate its significance. But there is also a more pragmatic reason. Back in the day, Karamzadeh planned to capture Drezen himself, but Minago beat him to it. If he takes it back now, he will finally have his glory, as well as further humiliating Minago. Greybor, you're not a soldier. What are you doing here? Greybor puffs his pipe and, after a short pause, says with dignity, True, I'm not a soldier. However, I have a better understanding of killing than most. Besides, the fact that I'm not a professional soldier means I can offer you a fresh perspective and give you advice that would never occur to a career officer. You know what? That's respectable. I want to hear the opinions. Why Rangers, Sela? We can't bolster our ranks with hunters and shepherds who can shoot an arrow but don't know anything about melee combat. War is not shooting partridges out of the sky. The demons could easily break through our ranks and attack our archers. And what happens then? A massacre that will leave us digging graves for a bunch of boys and girls? Rangers, on the other hand, spend their whole lives traveling, and they know what it's like to rely on no one but themselves. They're battle-hardened, and they can wield both a bow and a blade to fend off a dangerous foe if need be. In worrying about the lives of individual soldiers, we must not put their safety above expediency. The price of defeat will be the loss of the entire army, not just a few soldiers. Regel, tell me about snipers. If we take 100 archers and work them to the bone, in time we will discover a dozen with real talent. They must be able to remain completely focused on their combat objective, taking out one opponent after another. And the infantry's duty is to shield such valuable assets from any attacks, with their bodies if necessary. Greybor arches an arrow and smirks skeptically. You're acquiring a powerful but extremely vulnerable weapon. If we're not up against idiots, our enemy will see our weak spot and hit us there. That's exactly what I would do. Greybor, how are headhunters better than others? They can use their heads rather than just shooting wildly. Soldiers think the main thing is just to hit the target quickly and accurately. Doesn't matter what kind of target it is. If it's an enemy, it's good enough for them. But when you hunt dangerous prey alone, you can't help but smarten up. You learn to spot the leader in a crowd, count the guards, figure out who will have the time to take an arrow for the leader and who won't. And you do your work from as far away as you can, so you don't put yourself at risk for no reason. Which is why my colleagues in trade will outclass any soldier. If you hire professionals, they won't shoot volleys into the enemy infantry with abandon. They'll take out every single spellcaster and officer hiding behind the infantry, and pay you off for your investment before the enemy even reaches the front ranks of your army. Ulbrig, how will hunters help us? Oh, city folk always have to go divvying everything up. One person knows how to hunt goose, another knows how to pluck it, a third knows how to cook it. That's not how we do things in a village. In a village, every person is a hunter, a plowman, and if needs must, a warrior. These are experienced people, tough, hardened by life itself. And they know that if they don't stop this invasion, their homeland could become part of the world's wound too. Most of these hunters will never see their homes again. So what if they know how to handle a bow? They're still civilians. It's our duty to protect them, not send them off to the slaughter. Captain Odan, can slingers compare to experienced archers? Of course not. A sling is not an accurate weapon, but it is cheap and easy to learn. Slinger's training is inexpensive and brief. Any commoner can pick up the basics, and we'll be able to bring a large number of ranged troops onto the battlefield. Their numbers will compensate for their lack of skill. Sela's expression darkens. Untrained, practically unarmed peasants in the rear. A perfect target. So, Rangers, we have a couple. They are a unit. They can actually do decent if they have to go melee. Not gonna go for that. Headhunters are... I guess they're okay, but... Okay, unit makes a counterattack when damaged by a ranged attack. Yeah, they're not really gonna be shot that often, are they? Hunters. Axe hunters. So... Reckless attack on its foes. This turn, the damage the unit deals with this attack is doubled, but they get a penalty. Also ranged. Peasants with slings are the masses. You're basically getting a whole load of them every time you recruit, but no. Marksmen. Marksmen are, by far, the best unit you can get in this game. Now, yes, they are low on the hit points and health, but the goal isn't that. Their goal is to do a shit ton of damage. They're the glass cannons, but they're staying way in the background. Nobody's going to be shooting them. We're taking the marksmen. Redigal nods silently. I hope these measures will be enough to repel Karamzadeh's onslaught. And if not, those who come to take our place will learn from our mistakes and fare better. Alright. So there is an assault that's going to come in that we need to deal with. Nothing else to talk with here. I don't believe. And... oh, we have level ups to deal with, and equipment to dish out. So, tell you what. I am going to end this episode here. Next episode, we're going to deal out the level ups. We're going to, yeah, I don't care about that. We're going to deal out the level ups. We're going to prep up scroll spells. We're going to equip our people and take care of everything here. Management time! That'll be in the next episode. So, until then, I am Chester44, also known as Fly. That is me. This has been a Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous. And I shall see you all next time.